Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Tomorrow it all comes down to 80 minutes. The Rainbow Cup, North versus South final. For the privilege to be able to call yourselves Rainbow Cup champions, Pro 14 Rainbow Cup champions. Pretty much the last time the Pro 14 name will be in use, because from September it will be the United Rugby Championship. But tomorrow it is 80 minutes between the Bulls and Benetton over in Italy, in Treviso. The Bulls have travelled out there and they'll be facing the Italians, who finished top of the Rainbow Cup Northern Hemisphere, which was quite an interesting feat in itself. And I think we're in for quite a good game tomorrow, actually. I think that a lot of people are writing off Benetton, but you know what? I always say this, write off the underdogs at your own peril. A side like Benetton have got absolutely nothing to lose tomorrow. They don't have the expectation of we're the best South African side. They don't have the expectation of this is a side that's going to contend for the United Rugby Championship and could be pushing for European glory in a couple of years' time. They don't have that expectation. They've gone on a brilliant run. They've got themselves into a final, and now they can go one step further and say, well, you know what? This South African team, which is all that, we can beat them. So they're going to come out tomorrow, and I think they're going to come out firing. I haven't watched Benetton week in, week up. What I have seen, it looks like a very exciting brand of rugby. A couple of players who really enjoy throwing the ball around, so it should be quite an interesting contest. On the other hand, the Bulls are missing quite a few key players, and yet they've still managed to name a very, very strong lineup. But a couple of areas, and some key areas in the Bulls, where they would have liked to have had their sort of main men, and that's why I think that Benetton could give this a shot. I hope they do make it very competitive. Before we look at the team themselves, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can also become a part of the Forever Sports Members Club. You can just click the join button down there as well and get a little badge next to yourself, get access to a few custom emojis, as well as a whole bunch of other perks, which is explained when you join. Without any further ado, if we're looking at the sides, we're going to start with Benetton. And for those of you who don't watch a lot of rugby, you'll notice a lot of club rugby. You'll notice a couple of the Italian internationals. I think that's probably where you'll be able to recognize a few of these players. But there's also obviously a South African who will captain the side in Dewald Duvenacher there at scrum half. He's going to have an interesting battle up against Ivan van Zyl. If we look at this Benetton 15, it is Tomagallo, Cornel Els, Marco Riccioni, Nicolo Canon, Federico Razza, Sebastian Negri. He's a very good player. I think, watch Negri tomorrow. I really enjoyed watching him for Italy, and I think he's going to be a very important player. No Marco starting for the Bulls, so I think that'll be an area where Benetton will try and sit there and say, let's try and see if we can disrupt the breakdown. Basically, what Benetton needs to do is just try and stop the Bulls from playing their usual game. Michel Amaro, Tua Halafia, obviously Duvenacher, he partners Paolo Garbizzi. Those two, I think, will be key. I think Garbizzi, if he plays well tomorrow, he could potentially turn the game on its head. I love Garbizzi. I think he's a generational, he could be one of the most talented Italian players to ever play the game in terms of just natural ability. Whether he'll live up to that expectation, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, he's such a young player. He's got a lot of composure. He's very exciting. He tries things. And look, if he's playing well, Monte Aoni is another player who if can find some space, can punish you. So there's some good players in this Benetton side. Ignacio Brexit, Marcus Anon in the centres. Those are some good centres. They're not terrible at all, as is Jaden Hayward at full back. And then we've got Eduardo Padovani as the other wing. Off the bench, Jean-Marco Lecchesi, Ivan Neme, Filippo Alonghi, Erna Herbst, Manuel Zuliani, Marco Barbini, Callum Brayley, and Ratuva Tabayara. So, as I said, there are some good players in this Benetton side, and I think that, especially given the fact that the Bulls are missing a few players, they've had to go travel over there. They're going to be in slightly different conditions. A lot of these Bulls players probably have never played overseas, and now get their sort of first taste of this sort of rugby. So, there's also things like officials. You're going to have overseas officials. That'll be a different way, the way that they maybe blow the scrum. The referee will be Frank Murphy from Ireland. He will be assisted by Andrew Brace and Eugen Cross from both from Ireland as well, and Brian McKnight from Ireland was also the TMO. So it's an all-Irish official group tomorrow, which will make things interesting. Because I think that officials, in theory they've got the same rule book, but their interpretation will always be a little bit different depending on where you are in the world. So the set pieces, for example, which are a major part of the Bulls, could be officiated slightly different to what they've been doing down South Africa. So that should be another sort of element that will be quite interesting to watch. In terms of the Bulls side, this is what they've got. Fairly expected, I think. And the big thing is we were waiting to see what Bruno Nokia was going to retain that number 7 jersey. He does. So the front row is the usual front row of Gerard Stendekamp, Johan Kobela, Mornay Smith. Their job is to go out there and try and put pressure on the Benetton scrum quite early, try and wear them down, so that when Lizo Koboka, Jacques Van Rooyen come on the field, then they'll have the upper hand and try and finish strong. That tactic has been working really well for the Bulls, and they're not going to go away from it just because it's a final. The two locks will be Walt Steenkamp and Jan Ace, who comes in, which means Janko Swadepoel will actually be on the bench. And then the loose trio, so quite interesting. It was going to be interesting to sort of see how Marcel Coetzee was going to fit into the side with Nizam Kar. And is Marcel Coetzee maybe going to start on the flank, Nizam Kar at 8th man, but Nizam Kar will start at flank with Ruan Nokia, who retains the number 7 jumper, and Marcel Coetzee will captain the side that we knew, and he'll start at the back of the scrum. Just his 3rd game for the Bulls. The fact that he's keeping the captaincy is quite interesting. Nizam Kar's obviously been there a bit longer than him and has captained more, but they really are saying to Marcel Coetzee, go out and lead us to a trophy. He will lift the trophy if they win. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Ivan van Zyl gets partnered by Chris Smith, and I think that's going to be an area where Benetton are going to try and target. Chris Smith has not played a lot of rugby. Far less than he would have liked to, for example. And when he comes on, he's got a knack for scoring tries, actually. He's got quite a few tries to his name this tournament. But he's not somebody that plays week in, week out. And I think there's an area where Benetton will be sitting there saying, if we can try and close him down, if we can put him under pressure, if we can make sure he has an off day, that gives us a really, really good chance at trying to do something special. The rest of the backline is pretty much stock standard. Shavino Jacobs and Madosh Tamwe are the 2 wings. Don't give them any space. Lots of power from Shavino Jacobs and just raw out and out pace from Madosh Tamwe. Cornel Hendricks is the danger man for the Bulls. I think he's probably become one of their, if they're not their most important player in that side. Marco Janssen from Fury has been doing a very solid job at outside centre. And then you've got David Creel starting at full back. Off the bench, Skalki Rasmus, Jacques Van Nooy, and Lisa Koboka. Then you've got Janko Swanepoel and Miller Ace. And then Zach Berger, Clinton Swart, and Achiro Aplon. I mean, to have somebody like Achiro Aplon coming off the bench, he's been there, he's done that, so much experience. So this Bull side's a very good Bull side. And what we've also seen with the Bulls is that they've got very good structures in that when they have to change players, when they have to bring in new players and stuff like that, these players are very good at being able to sort of slot in and continue playing as normal. It's not a side where 4 or 5 players suddenly, necessitates a whole change of game plan, or suddenly, they all struggle to put things together. They've got very, very good structures. They're very well coached. Everybody knows their jobs. Everybody knows where they have to be, what they have to be, and how they have to be, which is a very good thing. And it's a big reflection of the coaching staff, and the Bulls coaching staff are doing a wonderful job. Yes, they've been bringing a lot of players, but you can't also fault the fact that they are a very disciplined side and a very well coached side who've got a habit of winning, and that's just it. They're used to winning. They're expecting to win tomorrow. They've got that sort of that winning mentality, and that's going to be very important in final situations. Final prediction: I'm going to go Bulls by 7. I'm hoping it won't be a bit of a runaway game. I hope it'll be nice and close. I really, really do hope Benetton pitch up tomorrow. And look, as South African, I hope the Bulls win. But I mean, I tell you what, I'd be hard pressed to be upset if Benetton were to bring up the upset, because I love an underdog story. So, from my point of view, I'm just hoping for some good rugby. But let me know what your predictions are down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you guys very, very soon.